of stress. We have chosen this topic because it's known that stress is called the disease of the century. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so the stress can generate many illnesses like autoimmunity diseases like diabetes or psychiatric diseases. So the gentleman in this picture is named Hanseli. Hanseli is a doctor and researcher. Uh, uh, he born in Vienna in January 20, 26, 1907, and died in Montreal, Canada, in October 16, 1982. This gentleman is a great researcher. He's the pioneer of the stress studies.
Pioneer. Mm.
So, concerning the stress definition, the stress, uh, excuse me, the stress is a punctual stimulation uh, that can be aggressive or no aggressive. For instance, distress or stress, which triggers a set of non-specific to organization involving neuronal responses, neuroendocrine responses, metabolic and behavioral responses. These responses are gathered in the general stress coping syndrome that enables an individual to cope to stress stressor to a greater or lesser extent adapted. So there are several types of stress. If if we consider the chronology of stress, the stress can be divided in the chronic stress or acute stress. If we refer to nature of stress, there are many types of stress, physical or chemical, psychological or emotional stress. These types can get in the organism by a cognitive route. Uh, uh, it can be traveled through central nervous system. It's cognitive,
Cognitive, huh?
cognitive, cognitive.
Good. Yes, we say cognitive.
Through the
Yeah.
central nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Another types of stress, concerning the pathogen stress, like a virus. This type of stress is no cognitive by the central nervous system and can be act via systemic route. When the individual is exposed to a danger or threats, he must react in two ways: fight or flight. It must therefore adopt a strategy that allows it to get by with the list code. This schema represents the different structure of nervous system involved in the defense strategy. Stressful information in first picked up the sense organs, the sense organs. Then this information is processed and analyzed in the brain, especially in the limbic system. The limbic system is composed by any organs of brain like an amygdala, hippocampus, thalamus, hypothalamus, and locus coeruleus. The brain will give a response adapted to the situation. Following the stress, the organism will react by calling on the sympathetic or to sympathetic nervous system. Uh, this autonomic nervous system can secrete and release two most neurotransmitter that named respectively adrenaline and noradrenaline. It's also activates the 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 adrenal axis is an axis that generate the activation of adrenal glands. These glands are located above the kidneys. These glands are composed of cortex and medulla structures. The cortex synthesizes and secretes glucocorticoids and other hormones. The medulla secrete the catecholamines, adrenaline, and noradrenaline that can added to noradrenaline secreted by autonomic nervous system. This catecholamines will be added to I said will be added to catecholamine that's secreted with the autonomic system. These hormones act at metabolic and also behavioral level to help the body fight stress. Uh, these catecholamines act to physiological responses uh, to induce tachycardia and enhance the rate respiratory rate and produce many red red cells, globule rouge. The metabolic responses supplying the glucose to provide energy to the brain and the skeletic muscles to defend itself and inhibits another function like the digestion and reproduction. The hormones response, we said that enhance the secretion of cortisol. Cortisol initially is produced after stimulation uh, the of the nervous system. This stimulation can induce CRF, CRH, corticotropin releasing hormone secretion by the hypothalamus. CRH, CRH is a neurohormone that can stimulate the secretion of another hypophyseal, another molecule that named adrenal corticotropin hormone, ACTH. This ACTH will be differenced in in circulation, general circulation, to induce the secretion of especially the cortisol by adrenal axis. The cortisol will be will can induce inhibition of the secretion of CRH and ACTH by a mechanism that named retroaction, negative retroaction. This the diagram explains that the general adaptation syndromes, goes through three phases: alarm phases, resistance phases, oxidation phases. If the body can not cope with the stress, it will either die or get sick. I signaled it in the first that if the organism cannot cope with stress, it can generate many illnesses like autoimmune diseases or psychiatric diseases. The body's response to the stressor involves the central nervous system and the peripheral system, and the neuroendocrine system, which deal with stress in three phases. The first phase is reception of the stressor by the sensory organs and their associated innervations. The second phase is that programming of the stress response in the cortex and the limbic system, like amygdala, olfactory bulb, hippocampus, septum, mammary body. The couple or the pair cortex limbic system is a comparative analysis system using memories from emotional experiences and learning as a database. In this way, the brain compares the new situation of stress with past experiences in order to develop an adapted responses. Triggering of the body's response via amygdala and hippocampus, which act on the hypothalamus and the reticular formation of the brain stem to activate the autonomic system, orthosympathetic, and neuroendocrine system to adrenal glands. The reticular formation triggers more specially the alarm direction than amplitude of which is modulated by the limbic system. This diagram represents the normal reaction to the stress. We call it that there is three phases: alarm phases with alarm phases with the secretion of catecholamines like adrenaline, and this is a very court phases. After these phases, the organism enhance the secretion of cortisol. When the organism coping well the stress, the cortisol can exert an feedback, negative feedback, and stop secretion of ACTH and cortisol. This schema represent the normal the reaction of stress in individual normal, control normal. control control case. Uh, uh, After epuisement or in case when the individual cannot respond to coping with stress, uh, we clearly notice that the basal value of cortisol is very high compared to the control or to the normal. In addition, the return to the normal level after stress becomes very slowly. We believe that the mechanism of retro feedback, negative feedback, is abolition. Uh, well, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Hassan. Though I understood very little myself.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Guys, do you have any questions for Hassan?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Sabrina.
I would like to know if there is some effect of amygdalectomy on social affective behavior.
Yes.
Hassan?
Can you repeat, please, the question?
Yes. Sorry. I would like to know if there is any effect of amygdalectomy on social affective behavior.
Amygdala, I can answer
Okay.
this question.
Because I used to know that it's reducing of the fear.
Fear, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is some study talking about this. I would like just to know if it's true or not.
In the laboratory, I'm a biologist, and in the laboratory we can create any model of psychiatric diseases like stress post-traumatic and depression. We can produce it by social manipulation, like social interaction, or in laboratory with stereotaxic appareil, and we can provoke any partial or total ablation, like olfactive bulb or amygdala. And the two cases we can produce different model, like if we can provoke an ablation, partial total ablation of olfactory bulb, that's called bulbectomy. We can generate a severe depression in rate. If we provoke a lesion in amygdala, we can produce another model that can be similar to the post-traumatic stress disorder in Egypt.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can answer?
Yes, Anis.
Thanks so much, Professor, for this presentation. It's very beneficial for me. It's very beneficial.
Thank you.
So this presentation, your presentation showed
beneficial.
It's very beneficial for us. This presentation shows us at first that God is the wisdom of God, the power of God, and the mercy of God. Because if we don't have these processes, which the professor talked about. We can't fight and we can't fly. So when we have a danger against us, we can't have a good response for it. All this response, all these processes from the danger to the sensibilization and the thalamus and hypothalamus, CRF, ACTH, H, and serenal, which secrete the adrenaline and noradrenaline. All this to be able to fight and to fly and to be in final alive. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have you another question?